This is Veterans in Focus on Chris 6 News.
Kilgore. His name should sound familiar to you. He's considered one of the state's most devoted historians. His commitments to efforts of preserving the past even earned him the honor of having this reading room at TAMUCC named after him. In 2004, the Nueces County Historical Society also created an award in memory of Mr. Kilgore, and since then, in his name, several people have been recognized for their service to the Historical Society or promotion and preservation of local and regional history. I'm Michelle Lorenzo in your neighborhood, and for this week's Veterans in Focus, we'll introduce you to this year's honoree. You might actually recognize him too. Dotson Lewis is a war hero who's also 96 years old, and guess what? He's still serving our community today.
Well, my name is Dotson Lewis. We teach here Writing Your Story. Welcome to us.
Dotson Lewis is a man who has worn many hats. He's not only a decorated Korean War combat veteran with 5 battle stars, you might even remember our story in 2020, which detailed an accomplishment he achieved outside the military.
He became the only 3rd sports official in Texas history to be presented with the Sam Brown Award.
On May 7th, Mr. Lewis will be able to add another highlight on his long list of successes.
The Nueces County Historical Society Board of Directors have decided to honor this man because of his contributions to the community.
Mr. Lewis will be receiving the Daniel E. Kilgore Local History Award. He and I talked about the honor that has been given to several inspiring members of society in the past.
Tell me how you feel about getting an award like that.
Well, I was surprised, and I'm really not sure what I did for an award.
He may be humble, but on the other hand, his fellow veterans don't mind boasting about him.
If you don't know Dotson Lewis, you are missing out. Not only is he an amazing friend, advocate for veterans in our community, a hero, but just a living legend.
He's been doing such a wonderful job in the community, helping the veterans. He's one of the original sponsors of the Veterans Roundtable.
As you may know, the Veterans Roundtable is a place local veterans can go every week to find out what's going on in Corpus Christi and Nueces County. It simply exists to help veterans get the information they need.
Good morning and welcome to the Veterans Radio Roundtable.
Mr. Lewis' voice is also regularly broadcasted on Keys 98.7 FM and 1440 AM. Every Saturday morning, he takes to the airwaves to talk about issues affecting veterans and their families. This routine endeavor aligns with his goal of informing and educating the public.
And we will be back.
What don't you do?
Well, I don't stay out of trouble. I don't avoid rocking the boat. But it's fun. Get to know a lot of people.
Another question some may be wondering, will Dotson Lewis ever slow down?
I feel like I'm just going to quit the whole thing.
What?
Yeah.
You say that.
Well, I've decided when I get back from Mars, I'm going to retire.
Gotcha.
Now, all jokes aside, all of us at Chris 6 News want to thank Dotson Lewis for his continued service to the community. Coastal Bend veterans are encouraging you to come and celebrate Mr. Lewis at the Daniel Kilgore Awards Banquet as well. It's on Tuesday, May 7th at the Emerald Beach Hotel. The event starts at 6:30. Now, keep in mind, folks, the last date to get a prepaid ticket is Wednesday, April 18th. And as always, folks, all the information you need is provided on our website, christv.com. In your neighborhood from TAMUCC, I'm Michelle Lorenzo with this week's Veterans in Focus.
Over at Corpus Christi City Hall, Purple Heart veterans and police officers received a special honor.
We encourage citizens to commend these individuals who have displayed unparalleled bravery and fortitude in defense of our freedoms and our communities.
A special proclamation reading took place today recognizing the courage, sacrifice, and dedication of those who were wounded in service and law enforcement. This comes the week of the 2024 Texas Purple Heart Convention. In conjunction with this event, Military Order of the Purple Heart Chapter 598 will host a huge resource fair this Saturday for law enforcement, veterans, and their families. Don't go away. We have a full look at your forecast and more neighborhood news stories after the break.
Hey there, good evening. Welcome back to News at 6. I'm meteorologist Julia Quady. So we're still stuck with that same weather pattern. It's still going to continue to be in the forecast looking ahead to tomorrow as well. But thankfully, we are going to have a bit of a break in it coming up in just in a few short more days. I'll have more details on that further along in the forecast. Right now, though, let's go and take a look at our CCAC Whataburger sky cam. Still seeing those cloudy skies hanging out with us for this moment, this evening. But even still with all these cloudy conditions, of course, with those southeasterly winds giving us all this moisture and humidity all across the area, that is going to translate to us having some warmer temperatures and feel-like temperatures all across the region for us this evening. So here in Corpus Christi, we're still hanging out in the 80s, around 82 degrees right now. 81 on over in Robstown, 84 in Kingsville, 83 in Alice, 80 degrees still on over in Beeville, and 79 degrees for the folks in Rockport. So very muggy, warm evening for us starting off right now over the area at this point. And like I said, with those winds, they're still not as gusty as we saw the last couple days, but still giving us all this moisture and humidity in the forecast as we're seeing so far throughout your work week. Clocking winds going 20 miles per hour on over in the Bluff as well as in Corpus Christi here. A little bit more calmer winds going as you look further inland, but still we're looking at the very least, our winds going in the teens. So still a bit of a breezy, windy evening for us for tonight. And of course, if you're dealing with any issues with your allergies, this is possibly the reason why we are at a moderate count for your pollen count on trees and grass pollen all across the area. So for that reason, if you're feeling any sensitivity, maybe having a stuffy nose or sneezing at all, that's probably the reason why. So maybe limit your time outdoors for this evening, or maybe looking ahead to tomorrow too, or maybe go ahead and take your allergy medicine to contend with all this pollen count starting to get a little bit high. Again, attribute to all these warm temperatures that we've been having the past few days, and thanks to those southeasterly winds just blowing all that pollen around the area too. And we're going to stay with this weather pattern pretty much through the rest of this work week, so it's going to be in that very humid range throughout the week. The only time we're going to start to see a little bit of a change in that, a big change in that honestly that I might add, is when we're going to see over this weekend that cold front's going to come through, dropping all that humidity and moisture in the atmosphere. Going to have more drier air and cooler air dominating the forecast as that cold front passes through over the weekend. So before we get there though, we still have to get through these muggy, humid nights that we're going to be having for the next few days. So as we've had for the past few days already, temperatures are only going to drop into the lower 70s all across the area. So again, that's on the account of all this moisture and humidity. We're not going to see our temperatures drop below the 70s all across the coastal bend because of how humid and how much moisture is in the atmosphere. And looking ahead to tomorrow for your Wednesday, we're going to be stuck in that same weather pattern still going to